Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. I am not gay. I'm not an occultist. They try to make it so I sound like a gay occultist or something, to their extreme disgrace. And speaking of that, this video is about what happens when Plan A hits. It's also about why it is insane to not compensate me, etc. Rather than martyr me, I'm Christ and the most determined martyr. So there's 6 points that I put here. Okay, actually 7. Point number 1. And there's more points than these, mind you. Okay, so point number 1. When they scream me out on this trajectory, immediately they will have failed themselves and their families to the extreme with no way to reduce or mitigate it anymore. How will they meet their maker? Seriously, how? They will suffer various consequences in a life that is short, or rather what is left of a life that is short, especially denial and how it affects one's ability to enjoy their life. Then off to eternal disgrace and eternal punishment. Even the agnostic knows that their failure is extreme, and that I have lived the best life ever possible with the information available to the agnostic, and also in reality, obviously. After said life is done, will the agnostics, the fake Christians, the fake Jews, and the atheistic Satanists, etc., then say, well, we did not know for sure that he would end up being screened out? How ironic and how pathetic. So these are the types of people, who say, well, you don't know that for sure. It's stupid. There's an overwhelming amount of evidence. And when all is said and done, will they make that stupid argument? The argument that they always try to make in this case, and it's always been weak. They try to pretend that, because the agnostic doesn't know that there's a God, that they should just do what they want and ignore the most obvious conclusion, the most obvious logical assumption to the agnostic, that there's a God, when every wise monotheistic person is always known for sure. And the spectrum of monotheism goes beyond the spectrum of other religions and philosophies and ideas, what have you. Point number 2. What will have become of their friends and their family that they have misled to the extreme by their actions? Keep in mind, they resorted to changing my voice in this video. They know that I'm right. They don't want me to say it in a way that really hits hard, because they know I'm right, because they're creating a white, Jewish, and LGBT and token minority society, because they're insincere, because they want to make it so that church people who inaugurate presidents or whatever, or say a prayer in their inauguration, they want to make it so they seem like they're more sincere than other people. It's just so immature. They're probably on their way to rape a kid right now. Just so immature. So immature. Point number 3. To pretend that they do not care is like being sentenced to triple life and pretending you and your family don't care, but far worse. Okay? Oh yeah, I'm sure it's not a big deal. See, when Plan A hits, they're done. There's nothing they could do in their life, and there's nothing that their offspring they can do in their lives that will ever be even close to worthwhile. All emotion, all psychology, all pathetic. Point number 4. Never forget that their offspring should want to stone them to death and stomp on their bodies for days, as they damn them to hell without even trying to reduce the eternal punishment to any significant degree, because the most determined and righteous person that ever lived would not be their pagan slave. Can such petty pride that comes from the groups that dominate their followers' souls allow for love in them or their followers, or anyone who lives on after my flesh dies, except for my parents? Can that allow for it? No. Who doesn't understand that? Really, who does not understand that? Point number 5. They made the biggest and most pathetic mistake in history when for $10 million or so over time, after taxes, and also leave me alone, etc., they could have seriously mitigated. Eventually this time will go by, and what will the timeline say about their decisions and their love for their families, their nation, and their churches, etc.? And keep in mind, $10 million, okay, is 10 cents each for 100 million people, or $1 each for 10 million people, and there's 22.5 millionaires and billionaires in this country alone. And this thing will have effects on every country on the planet and their offspring. Can you imagine being that dumb? As you look at the timelines, you plan things, you're like, hey, let's persecute this guy. And let's not try to mitigate. Imagine being that much of a fanatic. Masons often talk about how they're waging war against fanaticism. What they're doing is the most fanatic thing ever. Because you got to look at what matters most. If you were to say, hey, if you throw off your kids off a cliff, not knowing how steep it is, or if there's water there, or if somebody will magically catch them or not, that's fanatic. How much more is it fanatic to persecute the most righteous person that ever lived for no apparent reason other than mere human rules, customs, traditions, and psychology? That is fanatic as it gets. That is the essence of fanaticism, thus the essence of the failure of Freemasonry, the failure of the state, the failure of the churches, the mosques, the synagogues, the failure of their philosophies and their families. Can you imagine being so dumb that you make the dumbest call in human history? As an individual, as a group, can you imagine being that stupid, that sheer, just retarded? Can you imagine being that stupid? It's unbelievable. But I guess somebody has to be that stupid, because someone's going to be the dumbest person there ever is. But for that particular reason, that is unbelievably retarded. It's hard to get over that. That's one of the hardest things I've had to get over this whole time. Not so much, hey, I don't have a wife, or I live with my parents. The hardest thing to get over, by far, more than 9 million people starving to death a year, believe it or not, has been how could they be so damn stupid? Why so many of them want people to think of them as smart? That's so hard to get over. That is so stupid. Why don't you people understand? And why don't you share my frustration? Point number 6. Okay, did I finish point number 5 again? Okay, so eventually this time will go by, and what will the timeline say about their decisions and their love for their families, their nation, their churches, etc.? Okay, point number 6. So people are like Satan's bride. Now some people are Satanists, and they say, so what? Well, let's explore what it means to be Satan's bride, because I don't think you people understand this. And the people who understand it more than others, who decide to be Satanists anyway, they don't want to go in public and admit that they don't have much of a problem with these things when they think Satanism is cool. So again, they are in the spirit of Satan's bride. Satan is the essence of mass idolatry, mass child molestation, mass child abuse, child murder, what have you, mass starvation, starving people to death, mass homosexuality, mass rape, mass murder, mass drugging, mass theft, mass human trafficking, mass porn and all the grimy and horrible things associated with it, mass immaturity, mass torture, mass stupidity, mass chaos, causing chaos and confusion, the essence of chaos and confusion. Those are miserable things. Being unfulfilled, corniness, shallowness, false pride, disgrace, childishness, insincerity, mass selfishness, what have you, and more. I mean, who the hell would want to be in the essence of child molestation? That is sick. That is so sick. It is impossible to have sex with a child in a way that is not disgusting. All sex with a child is disgusting. But some of these people do such disgusting things on top of just the essence of just very filthy. Satan is the essence of that. It's the most filthy sexual acts on a child, just disgusting. Just kids salad tossing worms, just sick people. Point number 7. They're on board, right? The Boa Road. It's an anagram for Boa Road. Boa, BOA/RD, board, on the Boa Road. They assist the devil with the ruse, the lie, the schemes, and therefore they help confuse, use, and abuse. And that's what their families are. That's what the essence of them are. I think the essence of their family is when they smile at McDonald's, Or they go to, Chuck E. Cheese or Disneyland? When they have a nice dinner? When they have Christmas? No, that stuff is superficial. That stuff doesn't matter. The essence of who they are is a satanic bitch. I mean, come on, think.